Hello and a very good morning. You're watching the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are this morning's headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to leave for two-day Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Tashkent, meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping on the cards. Ahead of the crucial two-day Nuclear Suppliers Group plenary summit, India gets the support of France. China continues to block India's bid. RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan says bad loans and not high interest rates are to blame for slowdown in credit growth. Targets large corporates with the unviable loans for staying afloat by playing one bank against the other. And UK to hold its all-important referendum on likely exit from European Union today. British Prime Minister David Cameron leads appeals to stay on in the Union. Well, our top focus on the bulletin this morning. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will leave for Tashkent today to attend the two-day Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit. He will also meet Chinese President Xi Jinping to push forward his diplomacy for Mission NSG, while seeking China's support for India's membership in the Nuclear Suppliers Group. Here's more.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will leave for Tashkent on Thursday to attend the two-day Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit. The summit of the six-nation grouping is expected to focus on enhancing security cooperation to curb down terrorism.
PM goes to Tashkent tomorrow for the SCO summit. The SCO summit kicks off with a gala dinner and a cultural program. He will be meeting the host, the present chair of the SCO, President Karimov of Uzbekistan, tomorrow. After that, he will be attending what they call the extended session of the SCO the following day, that's the 24th. There will be a couple of bilaterals as well. And he returns to India on Friday evening, that's the 24th.
Modi will meet dignitaries of several nations at the summit. He's expected to seek support for India's membership in the Nuclear Suppliers Group, which China has blocked. Chinese President Xi Jinping, Russian President Vladimir Putin will be among the leaders present at the event. That will discuss various issues, including terrorism and energy cooperation.
Our engagement in these areas will intensify through this. The SCO is a major group in terms of countries that have a huge potential in terms of energy. We believe, that, in fact, there's talk of an SCO energy club emerging, so we'll wait and see how that develops.
India and Pakistan were both granted SCO membership last July. Both nations are expected to join fully by 2016. The SCO was founded in Shanghai in 2001 by China, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, Tajikistan and Uzbekistan. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, the Union Cabinet has approved a package of 6,000 crore rupees to boost employment in the textile sector. Norms for the next round of spectrum auction were also approved, even though pricing of spectrum user charges will be fixed only after receiving views of TRAI. Here's more.
In a bid to boost manufacturing and exports and generate more jobs in textile sector, the Union Cabinet has approved a package of 6,000 crores.
इस सेक्टर को बूस्ट देने के लिए कुछ विशेष कदम उठाए जाएं और इसलिए कई स्टेप्स हैं. अभी आपको एक ब्रीफ प्रेजेंटेशन मिसेस रश्मि वर्मा देंगी, जो सेक्रेटरी टेक्सटाइल हैं, कि इस सेक्टर में अगले कुछ वर्षों में 1 करोड़ लोगों का, जिनमें 70% लगभग महिलाएं होती हैं, तो इसलिए कई इंसेंटिव्स देना, कहीं स्कीम्स को चेंज करना, रेगुलेशंस को चेंज करना, कि इस पोटेंशियल को हम पूरा रियलाइज कर पाएं.
The cabinet also gave its nod to 2 major road projects, including the 4-laning of Gandhi Setu in Patna.
टेलीकॉम कमीशन और एजी का ओपिनियन टीआरएआई के सुझाव के बाद में आए, इसलिए ये तय हुआ कि सारे प्रस्तावना को मंजूरी दे दी गई। केवल जो चार्जेस का इशू है, एसयूसी स्पेक्ट्रम यूजर चार्जेस का, सारे डॉक्यूमेंट्स एक बार फिर टीआरएआई को दे दिए जाएं और शीघ्र ही अगले कुछ दिनों में उनकी पुनः एक बार राय ले ली जाए, so that we can fix the spectrum user charges.
Norms for the next round of spectrum auction were also approved. However, pricing of spectrum user charges will be fixed after receiving the views of TRAI. Vishal Dahiya, Rajya Sabha TV, Delhi.
Well, ahead of the crucial nuclear suppliers group plenary summit, India today got the support of France along with the US. France and US are requesting other NSG members to arrive at a positive decision during the summit. France, a key member of the 48-nation grouping, asserted that India's participation in nuclear-controlled regimes will help regulate the export of sensitive goods, whether they are nuclear, chemical, biological, ballistic or conventional materials and technologies. France and India share common goals regarding the non-proliferation of weapons of mass destruction and their delivery systems. Meanwhile, the US had in a statement said India was ready for NSG membership and asked participating governments to support India's application at the summit. Well, China on Wednesday said that it will play a constructive role in the discussions on India's bid for membership of the nuclear suppliers group. Meanwhile, Foreign Secretary S. Jaishankar is in Seoul to further push India's bid at the plenary of the 48-nation grouping on the 23rd and 24th of June.
In an apparent climb down, China has further softened its stand on India's bid for membership of the 48-member NSG. China has said it will play a constructive role in the discussions, though it maintained that the issue was not on the agenda of the NSG meeting in Seoul.
That China will not be the sole country opposing India's bid to NSG, because in 2008 also, after Indo-US nuclear deal, China had gone along. China wanted others to oppose, and when others are falling in line, China will fall in line too.
Meanwhile, Foreign Secretary S. Jaishankar is also in Seoul ahead of the crucial NSG plenary starting Thursday. He will lead Indian efforts to clinch the NSG membership, which is strongly opposed by China and some other countries. Prime Minister Narendra Modi too will take up the issue with Chinese President Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the SCO summit in Tashkent on June 23rd.
हमारी डिप्लोमेसी जो है जरा दबे होठों से होना चाहिए और चीन एवं पाकिस्तान के साथ हमारी बातचीत होनी चाहिए, तभी जाकर संभव होगा कि हम NSG के मेंबर बने.
China on Tuesday said the door is open for the admission of non-nuclear proliferation treaty members, but the members of the NSG should stay focused on whether the criteria should be changed. China leads the opposition to India's membership. Turkey, South Africa, Ireland and New Zealand are also against it. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Moving on now, outgoing RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan says slowdown in credit growth is not because of high interest rates, but due to the threat of mounting bad loans. He asked that if high interest rates are triggering lower credit growth, then why are private sector banks growing at a faster pace than their public sector counterparts? The governor said that the large corporates with unviable loans managed to stay afloat by playing one bank against the other. At the same time, he also emphasized the need to get back public sector banks into lending to support growth. He added lending is important for public sector banks to safeguard economic and credit growth of the country. However, credit growth has hit a near 6-decade low in 2015-16 at around 8.6%, while bad loans in the system have crossed 13% at over 8 trillion rupees in the last fiscal year.
Growing distressed portfolio in certain sectors made the public sector banks either more risk averse or less willing to take additional exposures in those sectors, because there's such a big part of the banking system. As a result, lending growth in those sectors fell considerably.
Well, after RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan, BJP leader Subramanian Swamy is now training his guns on Chief Economic Advisor Arvind Subramanian. Demanding his sacking, Swamy said that Subramanian was working against the country's interests, but the government stood firmly behind the economist, saying it does not share Swamy's views.
Well, the government has full confidence in the Chief Economic Advisor, Mr. Arvind Subramanian. His advice to the government from time to time has been of great value.
Finance Minister Arun Jaitly defending the appointment of Arvind Subramanian as the Chief Economic Advisor, saying he was aware of his stance on key issues including the intellectual property rights. The Finance Minister also made it clear that he did not give any credence to Subramanian Swamy's remark.
From the point of view of discipline of Indian politicians, to what extent should we attack those, the discipline and constraints of whose offices prevent them from responding? And this has happened more than once.
Jaitly's remarks follow BJP leader Subramanian Swamy demanding the CEA's sacking. It all started with a tweet in which Swamy said that Arvind Subramanian had convinced the US to act against India to defend US pharma interests.
He had deposed against India, and he was also, while economic advisor to the BJP government, praising the Congress for its objections on GST. Now, I mean, are we running a government or we are running a seminar? You see? So I think he should go.
Swamy's attack on the Chief Economic Advisor comes in the wake of reports of the latter being a probable successor to Raghuram Rajan as the country's central bank chief. With inputs from Vishal Daya, Bureau Report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, Finance Minister Arun Jaitly will leave on a 5-day visit to China today to attend the first annual meeting of the Board of Governors of the $100 billion Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. The Finance Minister will hold talks with Chinese investors and bankers to seek investment in infrastructure and other sectors in India. Jaitly will also participate in different sessions of the 2-day AIIB meeting, including the session on infrastructure and global economic growth and financing green infrastructure. Arun Jaitly is also expected to meet his Chinese counterpart Lu Jiwei during his visit. BRICS nations Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa have founded the AIIB to boost infrastructure investment in Asia. The AIIB meeting includes sessions of infrastructure and global economic growth and financing green infrastructure, among others. Well, in other news now, lightning strikes killed at least 93 people and injured more than 20 in Bihar, Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. Well, the weather has cast rain for more days and the situation looks extremely grim at the moment in several of these states. The state government has announced payment of 4 lakh rupees as compensation to the next of kin of each victim in Bihar. It said steps would be taken to make people aware of lightning and how to protect themselves from the lightning. Well, it's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
How are you really going to bring about a balancing act between the hardline and the moderate groups?
The Prime Minister has said, whatever my party president has said, is the line that which we are going to adopt.
Another trouble for the BJP is Varun Gandhi. At the National Executive, we saw his posters plastered across the city. Apparently, Modi ji didn't like this fact.
When these enthusiast supporters do something like that, they don't realize that they can, rather than doing good for their leader, they can do harm for the leader.
Watch To The Point with BJP National Secretary and spokesperson Siddharthnath Singh only on Rajya Sabha television.
Ellora Caves, an unimaginable and detailed work of art. The finest example of rock cave temple in India with 34 caves. Built by the rulers of the Rashtrakuta dynasty between 350 AD and 1000 AD. striking sculptures and murals are the hallmark of the caves. The Kailash temple is the largest monolith structure of the world, an impressive 15-feet statue of Buddha seated in two-story structure of stupa with all the grace. It took about 5 centuries to complete the structure, made with 200,000 tons of rock.
The sacred relics of Buddha were unearthed in Piprava in Uttar Pradesh. Buddhist monks from all over the world visit the National Museum to pay their respects. These charred bone fragments of Buddha are housed in the gold canopy gifted by the royal family of Thailand.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, Britain is set for a historic choice today. It will vote on whether the country should remain in the 28-member European Union, while the advocates for a Brexit argue that tossing off the shackles of EU bureaucracy will restore British sovereignty. The opponents say a vote to leave could be a grievous self-inflicting wound. The results are expected early on Friday.
Britain all set to go to polls in a historic referendum that will decide if it will stay within the European Union. Close to 47 crore people are entitled to vote. That will take place between 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. local time. On Wednesday, Prime Minister David Cameron made a last-minute appeal to stay in the European Union.
This vote, if we leave, is irreversible. If you jump out of the aeroplane, you cannot clamber back through the cockpit hatch. And that is why anyone in any doubt should be voting Remain tomorrow. This is a choice not just for this Parliament, the next 5 years, the next 10 years. It is the choice of a lifetime for people in our country, particularly young people.
Earlier, prominent politicians from both sides of the Britain's EU referendum debate made last-minute attempts to sway the undecided. The Leave and Remain camps also squared off on Tuesday night for a fiery televised great debate.
Vote for jobs, vote for rights at work, vote for our NHS, vote to remain in the European Union.
I think it's been a passionate fight, and that's not surprising when we're discussing something as important as our democracy. I respect people on both sides of the argument, and I think it's good that we hear from the heart from politicians and others who want us to remain and who want us to leave. But ultimately, people will have a chance tomorrow to take back control of our democracy.
Britain's allies from the United States to other members of the EU and NATO are all in favour of Britain remaining in the Union. UK has been warned that a decision to leave would diminish the former imperial power's influence and affect thousands of migrant workers.
Was ein Austritt Großbritanniens bedeuten würde, dass alles, was mit dem Binnenmarkt zusammenhängt und was zum gegenseitigen Wohle ist, sowohl Großbritanniens als auch aller anderen europäischen Mitgliedstaaten natürlich für Großbritannien dann nicht mehr zur Verfügung stünde.
Là, pour le Royaume-Uni, un risque très sérieux de ne pouvoir plus accéder au marché unique et à tout ce qui fait l'espace économique européen.
Counting of votes will take place at 382 local counting areas in England, Scotland and Wales, plus Northern Ireland and Gibraltar. Whichever side gets over 50% of the votes will win. Opinion polls, however, show a divided vote, with younger voters more in favour of staying in the EU. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, here's a roundup of the other international news in our World Wrap. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has hailed the successful test of a powerful new medium-range missile, saying it poses a direct threat to US military bases in the Pacific. Kim, who personally monitored the missile test, said it was a great event that significantly bolstered the North's preemptive nuclear attack capability. The International Monetary Fund warned the United States over poverty and rising inequality in the country, saying both could hold back the country's economic potential. In their annual assessment of the US economy, IMF economists said that the country was in good shape and predicted US GDP would grow 2.2% this year, down from 2.4% in 2015. Presumptive Republican nominee Donald Trump has called Hillary Clinton the most corrupt candidate in US history. Trump said that the woman he will face in November's election was a world-class liar who had perfected the politics of profit while Secretary of State. Addressing the speech in New York, he said that Clinton gets rich making people poorer, which also cast her as a destabilizing force in the Middle East. Moving on to some sports news now, and India survived a mighty last ball scare before clinching the T20 series 2-1 with the nervy 3-run victory over a spirited Zimbabwe in the third and final T20 international in Harare on Wednesday. The series decider went right down to the last ball after Zimbabwe restricted India to 138 for 6 and got close to the target before ending a 135 for 6. Needing 21 runs of the final over, Zimbabwe were in touching distance of a famous series win until Barinder Sran held his nerve for a dramatic finish to the game. A 4 was needed off the final ball, but Elton Chigumbura ended up hitting a full toss or low full toss straight into the hands of Yuzvendra Chahal at cover, triggering wild celebrations by the away side. Earlier asked to bat first, India reached 138 for 6 with Kedar Jadhav leading with a half-century. He made 58 from 42 balls. Indian captain Mahendra Singh Dhoni added another feather to his illustrious career. He equalled Ricky Ponting's record of captaining in 324 international matches.
It's been a good showing by those men. They are champions.
Well, now to some football news. In action-filled day at the Euro finals, Minnows Iceland joined Belgium and Republic of Ireland in the last 16 of the European Championships on Wednesday after registering their first win of the tournament. Cristiano Ronaldo erupted from his scoring slump by netting his first brace of the championship, helping Portugal earn a draw with Hungary and sending both teams into the round of 16. Here's more.
In the first match of Wednesday, Iceland scored a dramatic injury time winner in a pulsating finish to eliminate Austria and set up a last 16 tie against England in Nice on Monday.
It is done and dusted. Traustason made up the ground.
In humid conditions, Iceland took the lead through John Daddy Budvarsson, who slotted in a low ball past the keeper in the 18th minute. Austria eventually got the equalizer when Alessandro Schoff scored in the 60th minute.
Great run. It's a wonderful goal. They've finally done it, Austria. Alessandro Schoff. Second half.
But substitute Arne Traustason, last cap winner, gave Iceland their first ever 3 points at a major tournament and a last 16 showdown with England.
And they've not only gone through, they've won the game, Iceland.
In another encounter, Robbie Brady struck with just 5 minutes remaining as the Republic of Ireland claimed a dramatic 1-0 win over Italy to reach the knockout phase.
It's wonderful! It's wonderful! It's fantastic! It's Brady for Ireland!
Brady's 85th minute goal arrived just when it looked as if Ireland were heading out due to Azzurri's strong defence. They will play host France in the last 16 tie on Sunday. Meanwhile, a late goal by Rajya Nainggolan secured Belgium's place in the last 16 and knocked out Sweden, bringing to an end Zlatan Ibrahimovic's international career. Victory in Nice meant Belgium finished as Group E runners-up and will face Hungary on Sunday. Sweden exited the competition with just 1 point from 3 games, in which striker Ibrahimovic failed to score a single goal. The thriller of the day was reserved for the final fixture of the Group F, when Portugal came back from behind to draw with Hungary and sending both teams into the round of 16.
It just gets better and better for Hungary. Only qualified for Euro 2016.
A Zoltan Gera half volley put Hungary in front, but Cristiano Ronaldo set up Nani to fire in an equalizer before the break.
Portugal are level. It's Nani's goal.
2 deflected Balázs Duzek's goals restored Hungary's lead early in the second half.
Oh my word! it just gets better and better for Hungary.
But Ronaldo scored in the 50th and 62nd minutes, the first with a spectacular back heel
Cristiano Ronaldo has levelled it up for Portugal.
and header to level the match.
Whipped in by Quaresma. It's Ronaldo. Who else?
The six-goal thriller sent Hungary to last 16 as Group F winners, with Portugal also advancing as one of the top 4 third-place teams. Portugal, who have now reached the knockout stage in all 7 of the European Championship appearances, will face Croatia on Saturday. Bureau Report, Rajya.
Well, that's it on this edition of the Breakfast News. Have a good day.